associate hip-hop as a violent, rampant music culture that promotes violence, degrades women, and promotes junkies. But in reality, it is in no way promoting it, but in fact portraying it. We are here to talk to you guys today about an invisible cycle called the hip-hop cycle. It begins with the creation of hip-hop. It then segues into hip-hop's transformation into becoming a multi-billion-dollar business, and then ends with hip-hop having a positive effect on African-American communities. The first part of the cycle begins with urban African-American youths expressing their emotions and feelings through rap and freestyling. This is why hip-hop is considered a method of transferring information primarily through African Americans. The author of a book called The Hip Hop Wars writes, "A good deal of hip-hop speaks and has always spoken openly and in-depth about aspects of black urban poverty, particularly the grip that the street culture has on many young people. Today in our society, poverty is rampaging through African American communities. One statistic done in 2000 shows that in southern African American communities, the poverty rate was significantly higher than other areas. Places like Chicago had 19% in poverty. Memphis, on the other hand, had an outstanding 44% in poverty. Another statistic done shows that poverty has a direct link with violence and theft. Therefore, because of the overwhelming amount of poverty in black communities, there was no reason why that all African American youths see so much violence happening in our communities today. What happens on the streets for urban African American youths is what hip hop takes and facilitates to the world." One artist named Kendrick Lamar said, "Or knuckle up if you can fight, we always making them duck or die." This is accompanied along with the image of Kendrick on the streets with dead bodies surrounding him. This being the environment he's in conveys the message to the listener that in the streets, either you fight or run and hide. One statistic done shows that the gun homicide rate for black males is 2.4 times as high as that of Latino males, and it is 15.3 times as high as the rate for non-Hispanic white males. Gun violence is rampant through urban African American communities. The only real way to escape it is, as Kendrick put it, is to run or fight back. This message is one of the many the community creates and hip-hop delivers to society.
Now through this method of transferring information comes about a business, the hip-hop business, which now thrives off the sale of products endorsed and attracted by the people of the hip-hop culture. These products include brand name clothing lines, exclusive high-end headphones, alcoholic drinks, and so forth. We come to recognize this as the second part of the hip-hop cycle. You see, many people solely refer to hip-hop as a music genre, but little do they know that hip-hop has now turned into a successful multi-billionaire business, where the richest artists are no longer making a majority of the profits of the music that they made, but rather through having people buy their hip-hop endorsed products. It has been estimated by Forbes.com in recent news that Dr. Dre could soon be hip-hop's first billionaire. Now one may wonder, how many albums has this artist sold to make this amount of money? Surprisingly enough, Dr. Dre's total count of album sales is not enough to place him in the top 10 best-selling artists in hip-hop lists. Yet this man is now considered hip-hop's richest artist. How is this possible? This is because a majority of his money income stems from the sale of items known to be very coveted by the people of the hip-hop society. According to Forbes.com, this is a business strategy used by all of hip-hop's wealthiest artists. And for Dr. Dre, it is the sale of his very popular Beats audio headphones that recently skyrocketed his net worth to $800 million, as Apple recently bought the company for $3.2 billion. Diddy, a rap artist who was considered the richest in hip-hop before Dr. Dre's recent success, also uses the same strategy of not only selling music, but also selling products that attract the hip-hop audience in order to reach his net worth of $700 million. This was doable thanks mostly to non-musical ventures, says Forbes.com. These non-musical ventures include sale of Diddy's own clothing line, Sean John, and his deal with Ciroc, a very popular brand of vodka in the hip-hop culture. The release of the clothing line, Sean John, in 1998 was very successful. It was released in 1998, which resulted in the profit of $250 million. This accounts for about 35% of Diddy's current net worth. Third on the list of hip-hop's richest artists is Jay-Z. He too makes his money through several avenues, which include both the sale of his music and his very popular clothing line, which we all know as Rocawear. In 2007, Rocawear made a total sale of $204 million. This money accounts for about 40% of his $520 million net worth. 28% of his net worth also comes from deals with Live Nation. So now one can clearly see that hip-hop is not only a music genre, but also a business where artists make money by selling items that attract the hip-hop society. This is why we see artists like Lil Wayne, T.I., 50 Cent, even Nicki Minaj currently selling their own clothing line and making tons of money. But what they do with this money, is a different subject, which leads us into the third part of the cycle, which Enri will take care of. Thank you.
Thanks for the great introduction, Manny. It is interesting to look how hip-hop follows a specific cycle. The final part of this sequence is how hip-hop and its counterparts, artists, producers, etc., are given a voice to urban African Americans and their communities, and giving these people an opportunity to succeed. This cycle as a whole is centered around helping African Americans and their communities. One of the main contributions hip-hop has made towards helping urban African American communities is seen through the messages hip-hop sends to society. To go back to Mike's points, hip-hop's lyrics are literally highlighting the situation on the streets. The violent lyrics are literally portraying what is bad about the streets and what needs to get fixed for a change for the better. These lyrics are giving a voice to urban African American communities in American society so that the fight against political, social, and economical oppression is a successful fight. But do not get me wrong, the violent lyrics is not the only characteristic of hip-hop that gives urban African Americans a voice in society. To further this argument, it is necessary to take a look at some lyrics. Jason Terrell Taylor, aka The Game, a prominent rapper in hip-hop, takes a good choice of words, a few interesting words in his song, Ali Boombaye, which we will be playing for you right now.
Get my people out them chains, nigga. I mean handcuffs. Time to man up. Put my hand.
In this part of the song, Ali Boombaye, The Game is shedding light on a political matter that greatly affects African Americans as a whole, without using violent lyrics, by the way. The political matter being incarceration rates for African Americans. The Game purposely alludes to slavery in this lyric because he wants to exemplify how bad incarceration rates are, and he's comparing it to slavery. Hip-hop has given artists a platform to make good music and become successful economically. This economic success has allowed artists to give back to their communities. An example of this is what two very well-known artists are doing right now, Common and Kanye West. Common's Ground Foundation and Kanye West's Houndo Incorporation are joining forces to make nearly 15,000 jobs available for the youth of Chicago by 2015. This movement began as a response to a January jobs report for Chicago that showed 92% of young black males were jobless. The Common Ground Foundation and the Houndo Incorporation have teamed up with the Urban League and of course the City of Chicago to accomplish their goal of creating 15,000 jobs. This is just one instance in which hip-hop artists use their fame to give back to the urban communities. The hip-hop cycle as a whole is one ultimately that helps urban African Americans and their communities. They created hip-hop as a means of raising awareness for their struggles. Thanks to its popularity, hip-hop became a well-known business and a successful one at that. And because of this successful business, black Americans are now able to receive the help that they initially asked for at the start of hip-hop. But does helping urban African American communities make hip-hop artists truly a part of hip-hop? Since the real message of hip-hop is about the streets, and now hip-hop artists live as part of the upper class of society, is hip-hop still hip-hop? Only you can decide.